Welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to motivate yourself to eat healthier. I am a firm believer in the fact that, if we don't take the time to take care of our wellness now, we will be forced down the road to take care of our illness. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather take care of my wellness, stay well, versus being forced to suffer through the pain of illness and medications and all that kind of stuff. So it all starts with taking care of our body now and just really nourishing ourselves. So when we make the decision to eat healthier, we need to think of what is motivating us, because our habits are often formed years in advance. It might even have started when we were children, and so those habits can be hard to break. And we have to think of human motivation, which comes from either pain or pleasure. So the habits that we have now are our habits because we associate pleasure with them. So if we're emotional eating, if we're overeating, if we're eating too many sweets, all that kind of stuff, we might associate pain to the fact that we're not happy with our body, we're not happy with the way that we feel, but in that moment while we're eating, we are associating pleasure to that. And the stuff that happens after, it's not direct. So we might not feel that we're getting pleasure from it, but in that moment we are. So we kind of have to retrain our brain and really see, what is causing us pain and what is causing us pleasure. So how do we do that? I will mention these are tools and tips that have worked for me. However, I'm not a healthcare professional, I'm not a doctor, and if there's things going on in your body, or if you feel like you have been eating healthy and exercising and you haven't seen the changes that you want, there can be underlying health issues, and it's always good to go to a doctor and just get testing, and if there's something there, then you can address it and you can really get the results that you want and get your body feeling and functioning at its best. I find the best way to really understand where we're at and where we want to be in the future is to write things down, and then that way we can come up with a plan. So we're going to get a piece of paper and we'll draw a line down the middle. On one side we're going to write our old habits, and on the other side we're going to write our new habits. And so the old habits are the habits that you have now that aren't serving you. I know for me it was definitely emotional eating, binge eating, maybe you're snacking too much, maybe you eat way too much sugar, drink too many sugary beverages, whatever your old habits are. And then we're going to get a new piece of paper and we're going to write a journal entry about it. So we're going to write all the ways that makes us feel and the ways that it's not serving us. So maybe your diet is causing you to feel sluggish and no energy, or maybe we're constantly experiencing stomach pain and indigestion because the foods just aren't sitting well. Or maybe you're not confident to wear a bathing suit and take your kids to the beach, and you're missing out on all those fun opportunities that you could be having, making memories with your children, and the fun that you would be providing for them. Whatever it may be, write a journal entry about that. Fill up as much paper as you can, and then we'll go back to our first page and we're going to go to our new habits section, and we're just going to write down all the new habits that we want. And then again, we are going to make a journal entry and we're going to make a vision of how we're going to feel and what it's going to be like when we are doing all those habits. Now, when we're looking at new habits that are going to serve our body and nourish us, it can be overwhelming because there's so much information out there, and there's different information and different diets and different things, but don't let yourself get overwhelmed by it, because it's only difficult if you choose to view it as difficult, when really it's just a simple change of, taking these habits and just changing them for healthier habits. Small steps are more important, and, healthy eating and moving your body is a simple thing. Now, another thing that you can do that can really help you in your process is assigning names or character avatars to each side. So your old habit side, you can give a name. Maybe it's a name that you don't like. Maybe it's an artist you don't like, whatever. And then on the new habits, you're going to think of someone that you look up to. Maybe it's a really great influencer, a really healthy influencer, or maybe it's a celebrity. So let's just pretend old habits is Stacy. I don't know anyone named Stacy. And let's pretend new habits is Jennifer Lopez, you know, she's 50 and she looks incredible. So she's a great new habits avatar. And so if you ever find yourself reverting to your old habits, then you can just say, you know what? I'm not going to be hard on myself. I was just being Stacy, and now I'm going to choose to step into being Jennifer Lopez. And you know, it's going to happen. You're going to fall back into being Stacy because that's our habit, and that's been a habit probably for years, maybe even your entire life. So don't be hard on yourself if you fall back into that habit. You can just acknowledge that you're being Stacy right now and that you choose to step into being J-Lo. And you know, habits take lots of time to form, so give yourself time, because it takes on average over 2 months to form a new habit, and it could take more, it could take less. So don't be hard on yourself. Just keep your focus on the fact that, you know, I'm trying to be Jennifer Lopez, and if I was Stacy yesterday, that was yesterday. Today I'm Jennifer Lopez. Now, another thing is to not use others as an excuse. So it's a really good idea to share what you're doing publicly, because then you have support and accountability there, but it's no one else's responsibility to do those things for you, and they might not even support you. Or, you know, it could be someone that you're living with and they don't want to make those changes. And so you have to respect that, and you have to understand that ultimately you're responsible for yourself and they're responsible for themselves. And it's great when you do have the support, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's responsible for your body and your life and your wellness. So don't allow that to become an excuse for you, and don't use your children as an excuse. You know, you don't need to be buying all that stuff for your children either. You know, if your habits were formed in your childhood and you're not happy where you're at, why would you want to form those habits in your children? So think of it that way, and you know, you're responsible for teaching them and modeling to them how to take care of their body and their wellness. So they don't understand that, and if they want the chips and the candy, you know, it's your responsibility to help them understand wellness, and you know, moderation is fine. Now, another thing that's really good to help keep you motivated is to follow accounts that motivate and inspire you, and share tips and tricks or exercises that you are interested in, so that you are constantly being fed that kind of information. And there's support groups too that you can join. Those are great as well, because again, our motivation is going to wax and wane. So the more good feedback that we are putting in, the better off we are setting ourselves up to be. One last thing that you can do is you can set a goal in the future. So maybe it could be participating in a race, or maybe some type of photo shoot, and it can be totally like private and you don't have to share it with anyone, that kind of thing, but something that you have to commit to or pay for in advance. And then that way you're kind of holding yourself accountable, and you have an end date in mind. You know, it's a lot of women find it super easy to focus on an end date for their wedding. So definitely having something that sets a time limit could benefit you when you're trying to work on developing a new habit. However, that being said, don't allow the time limit or the end date to be the end of your process, because you know, a wellness journey has to be a lifetime journey. So you know, it can help you reach a certain goal, but you need to keep consistent with it after that as well. Also, one last thing is that these tips can be applied to anything. So you know, I was focused on motivating yourself to eat healthier, but you can use it for fitness motivation, you can use it for financial motivation, relationship motivation, whatever it is. You can start with the old habits, the new habits, journaling about how it's making you feel now, and your vision for the future and where you'll be at when you are implementing your new habits, and going from there. And yeah, that concludes everything I had to share. Please leave a comment below if you have any other tips that have worked for you, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye guys. Ruining my videos. Hi. Oh wow. Cool shadows. Oh God.